many of you have ever felt personally victimized by Regina George?
I realize I could do a video essay on just about any topic, and to do that properly, I believe you have to write what you're passionate about. I'm passionate about film, of course, but there are some days when you really just want to kick back and enjoy a fun movie. But in the best cases, those movies elevate the fun stereotype by including incredible character work that shouldn't be overlooked. So let's take a deeper look into one of my all-time favorite movies, and one of the most realistic kinds of villains. Today, we are going to break down Regina George, the primary antagonist of the 2004 high school comedy Mean Girls.
That is so fetch. Gretchen, stop trying to make fetch happen.
In John Truby's book The Anatomy of Story, he states this when approaching writing villains: create an opponent who is exceptionally good at attacking your hero's greatest weakness. Our hero in this case is Cady Heron, who we already empathize with immediately as she tells us her story in voiceover. She was previously homeschooled due to her parents' job and has been raised to treat people with kindness. Unfortunately, she soon learns the reality of being in high school, which is that being nice doesn't immediately result in everyone liking you. Even as she attempts to remain with her optimistic and sweet nature, she's constantly put down by other students and members of the staff on her first day. She does befriend two other students, Janice and Damien, in the movie, but like her, they're also misfits and have accepted their situation that they won't become popular. Enter Regina George. She's presented as the queen bee of the school and a leader of the clique called the Plastics. When we're introduced to her, we already see that she has power over most of the students. No one wants to mess with her, and she revels in this, embracing her fierce nature. When she sees a boy try and make an advance on Cady, she immediately stands up for her, humiliating the boy Jason in the process. Seeing Cady as an innocent girl she can manipulate, she uses her charm and charisma to win Cady over into joining the Plastics. They make the rules clear, and Cady jumps at the chance, wanting to learn a new experience and become a better version of herself. Regina, whilst acting like her friend, does point out several flaws with Cady. The Plastics do this too, giving her a lot of instructions and taking advantage of her caring nature, and they essentially have her in the back of her hand. Regina and the Plastics attack Cady's weakness. In Robert McKee's book Story, he writes, "True character is revealed in the choices a human being makes under pressure. The greater the pressure, the deeper the revelation, the truer the choice to the character's essential nature." The choices Cady and Regina make both show the flaws in their characters, and that's their insecurities. Regina immediately betrays Cady when she realizes she has a crush on her ex-boyfriend Aaron Samuels and has now succeeded in her goal. She has transformed the sweet and caring protagonist into a judgmental, angry queen bee just like herself, showing that anyone under the right circumstances can become a mean girl. Cady then attacks Regina's weaknesses, forcing her to gain weight and highlight her own insecurities for everyone to see. Regina then retaliates by leaking the secrets of the burn book and framing Cady in the process. This makes Cady look like the villain and Regina look like the victim. They have now switched roles. It should be noted that Aaron Samuels liked Cady for her sweet nature, and when she becomes more like Regina, he loses all interest in her. I believe that Regina saw Cady as the type of person she always wanted to be, normal. But Regina knows that there needs to be a queen bee, and makes sure the school now sees Cady in that. Becoming essentially normal and sympathetic through this, Regina has essentially won, until the scene in which Janice humiliates Regina when the teachers decide to have the characters be honest, and this is what breaks her character. No matter how hard she tries, no matter what she does, she will always be seen as the bad guy, and now it's made clear to her that that's what everyone in the school also feels. In this moment, Regina has now lost all power. It's unique that instead of having Regina as a pure antagonist, instead her and Cady become each other's antagonists. They push each other's buttons throughout, and we begin to empathize with them both. It's important to note here that bullies in real life don't do it just to be mean. They often do it because they feel insecure themselves and have to bring down others to feel good about themselves, which is indicated by Regina's burn book. To gain her sense of power, she has to put everyone else in the school down. John Truby also notes this in Anatomy of Story. It is only by competing for the same goal that the hero and the opponent are forced to come into direct conflict, and do so again and again throughout the story. And due to not being raised like Cady, instead of having a cool mom than a compassionate one, this is what forms Regina's views on how to survive in high school. Cady also wants to survive, and her inexperience with not knowing how social cues work in high school drives her to make the wrong choices. She chooses to abandon her old identity to survive. They are both fighting to survive in the high school environment, and we know from the beginning that Cady sees it doesn't matter if you're nice. No one will attempt to hurt you as long as you're seen as cool. It's here that Cady regains her old nature, but even when she tries to apologize, Regina's hit by a bus, and a rumor quickly spreads that Cady is the one who pushed her. This causes both characters to have a wake-up call, and when Regina loses prom queen to Cady, she uses that as an opportunity to become who she really is, a caring person. She apologizes to everyone she hurt and proposes a truce with the plastics, ending the conflict with the students. A great antagonist will also cause the hero to grow, and Mean Girls does this in a unique way, by making both the protagonist and the antagonist grow in the fallout of their rivalry. Cady learns to be herself because of Regina, and Regina begins to deal with her own flaws because of Cady. They both change each other for the better, and this is what makes Regina a great antagonist. Not only does she push Cady to make difficult choices and try to take her down herself, she also learns from her, and vice versa. Regina George shows us that bullies aren't necessarily terrible people. Often, they're just misunderstood.